an on-the-job training episode of We Only Look Thin. I am your gainfully employed co-host, Catherine Weigel. I've lost 145 pounds, and with me today is my partner,
gainfully employed Donald Weigel.
Hello.
And I've lost about 100 pounds, and we're here to tell you about it.
We are. It is the holiday season. If you are listening to this episode when it comes out, we have just passed Christmas.
Yeah, as we record it, we still have Christmas to look forward to.
Oh, how nice.
But when the episode comes out, Christmas will have just happened.
And we won't have anything to look forward to. Yeah. Unlike you, who you all get to look forward to what it is we're going to talk about on the episode.
Yes, indeed. And as we usually think about during the holiday season, we are going to talk about jobs. And work. And we're going to cordially invite you to the first annual, I guess? Sure. Wolt Place Job Fair, or just Wolt Job Fair.
Yeah, the Wolt Place Job Fair.
Job Fair.
It sounds fun. There's going to be circus peanuts.
Yeah.
Nobody likes those.
No one does. Who buys circus peanuts?
Daughter. We were in line.
She likes circus peanuts?
We were in line at Joann's Fabrics the other day, and they have, that gauntlet that you have to walk of all the janky tchotchkes or whatever. They were selling circus peanuts, and she's like, "Oh, hey, what's all this about?" I don't know why she has the taste of a 90-year-old.
If you like circus peanuts, we want to hear from you, and we'd like to know what it's like to be wrong.
Well, and also, I think I'm not sure I've had one. They're shaped like peanuts, but they taste like orange.
Yeah, they're like weird, gooey orange. Not that good.
Sense.
No, they're not even like peanutty, I don't think.
They're doing their job wrong, but we are going to tell you in this episode how to do your job right.
Yeah, I like how you brought that back around.
That
was good. You really did.
Why are they talking about Joann's Fabrics?
Yeah, so, when you were in high school or whatever school, you might have gone to a job fair, or maybe in college you went to a job fair.
I was always afraid of fairs. I don't know, I went to the county fair and I got kettle corn and that kind of thing.
And you were big into the Ren Fair.
Oh, yeah. Huge into
just giant turkey legs. And
you know what? I actually heard that since the COVID shutdown, sorry, we're going to talk about COVID for a second, that Ren fairs were like the biggest consumer of turkey legs in America.
Oh, there's turkey leg
now
problem?
There's a turkey leg problem.
The turkeys
don't think there's a problem.
No, the turkeys are quite happy about the Ren Fair shutting down.
But yeah, like your Disneylands and your Ren Fairs were big turkey leg people.
I come to think of it, like, aside from Thanksgiving, you just don't see people gnawing on turkey legs unless you're at a Ren Fair or Disneyland.
Yeah, I actually went to a Ren Fair. You were working, but I went to a Ren Fair maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it was not my place.
No.
It was, fifes are not my instrument.
I love going to Comic-Con. I love cosplay, but shockingly, I'm even into, Dungeons and Dragons and, fighting
but
sorts. But, Ren Fair is just, one step
turkey
too
leg
far.
over the line. There was jousting. There was, sort of this bungee jumping thing, which our kid really enjoyed. As is
we all
tradition.
know in the Renaissance, they bungee jumped a lot in the Renaissance. Yeah.
It was a lot, yeah. Anyway, okay, what is this episode about?
It's about picking out
forgot.
Your weight loss job.
Oh.
And the different kinds of weight loss and fitness jobs that there are.
Yeah.
And you need to pick one. I don't know. I don't know why I'm being so mean about it.
I don't know. Well, but I know we got on the Ren Fair kind of shtick, but I never went to college fairs or job fairs or whatever.
And it shows.
Yes, it does. But I don't know. I just never felt like I was even qualified.
Oh, really?
I just sort of was like, I don't know if I'll get into a job.
I always felt like everyone would be lucky to have me. And look where it got me now.
Are we? I'm lucky to have you.
Yeah.
What was your first weight loss job, like in the real world? I know Wolt is your weight loss job now, but what was your first kind of dalliance into the weight loss?
Well, I think it was really just that I thought, and this is really kind of in my teen years, I thought that I could just exercise my way out of it. And I don't think I thought if I ate healthy foods and exercised a lot.
Foods.
Well,
Snack wells.
I'm putting quotes around healthy foods, even though this is a podcast. So I would eat a lot of whole wheat bread and oatmeal and sort of was accidentally carbo loading, but also like, you know, lifting weights and trying to run, and
carbo loading was like a big thing.
Yeah.
Like you really felt like, oh, I'm going to do the fun run at school. I got a carbo load.
Yeah. So I just really thought that I could kind of exercise my way out of my weight situation. And it spoiler alert, it didn't go great.
No, not so good.
Not so good. What was your first weight loss job?
Well, I think my first was a job that I wasn't actually invited to take, which was I had a family member who was taking water pills.
Oh.
And water pills were like, oh, it's just water weight, everybody. Everybody's got so much water weight.
I don't know why I said it like that. I said it like, oh my goodness, of course, water pills. Like, I know all about that. Like, I know nothing about that.
It was just like as though me being 5'7" and 170 pounds in 5th grade, 6th grade was like...
It was all water.
It was water.
You were drinking too much water.
Oh, it's everywhere.
As we all know, drinking too much water is the problem.
But luckily my family was like, no, you are too young for water pills, so you must stay watery.
Yeah.
So
stay watery.
So all much right. When you're 16, you can get rid of all that excess water.
You have to be at least 16 to get rid of excess water.
Anyway,
I love it.
But my first actual foray by myself, totally untrained, no guidance, no representation from my family telling me what to do or not, was watching and doing Jane Fonda workout videos and eating dry toast.
Yeah.
For all my meals.
Yeah.
That was, I think, 6th grade, like maybe 7th grade.
Oh my God. This is breaking my heart right now, thinking about 6th or 7th grade you trying to like dry toast your way out of your...
Well, no, but we had gym class, and I talk about this with our daughter a lot, that we had to run this hill called Agony. You're going to get it all. You're going to get the whole therapy session right here.
Yeah, a hill called Agony is something you definitely want to be a part of.
I wanted to switch out of the school because I heard about Agony in 5th grade and was like, I need to move somewhere by myself.
Right.
But we had to do this run every day in gym, and if we didn't finish it in a certain amount of time, we had to run an extra amount, because when you can't run, being shamed by Mr. Nelson, let's call him Mr. Nelson or Coach Nelson, to have to run an extra part of it.
Yeah, let me tell you too, PE teachers have not come a long way, some of them, since those days either. We have discovered that, but anyway. But
I was like, okay, I am tired of being last every single time. So I actually started jogging a little bit before school. I was doing Jane Fonda and just eating dry Roman meal toast bread.
Yeah.
And I actually did lose some weight. And then I gained it all back.
Yeah.
But that was my...
You can't dry toast in Jane Fonda forever.
No, it was not sustainable. But that was kind of my first, I didn't know what to do, so that's what I did. But here at We Only Look Thin, we are hoping today to tell you about the different kinds of weight loss jobs that there are available to you. You might just be starting out. You might feel like you're in a dead-end weight loss job.
Yeah.
And you're looking for a career change.
Yeah, so you enter the job fair, and there are booths all around set up with people trying to recruit you to their various jobs.
Sure. So I think when I was a kid, and perhaps when you were a kid too, we knew that jobs were things, but we didn't know how you got them, what it meant. It was just like, oh, you have a corner office.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's in a corner, everybody. That's great.
Yeah.
But you don't actually know what jobs mean and what they entail. And I think in the weight loss world, we do that too. We kind of think like everybody's got the same weight loss job. Everybody has the same expectations. But really, just like in jobs that you get where you go into a job with a mug and a cooler and a desk for some reason.
And a briefcase.
And a briefcase.
You have to have a briefcase to go to business
so
job.
important. And a stapler, probably.
Oh, man, yeah.
But just as there are jobs, there are weight loss jobs. And so like Donald has invited you to imagine on this dream quest, we are taking you...
a vision quest, if you will. We're taking you into the desert to do weight loss peyote and then join us on a vision quest at a job fair.
sure.
Because it's magical.
You know what? We're weaving this as we go, but here we are. So yes, we came up with a number of different jobs, which Donald about 18 minutes ago suggested that I give you the rundown of what they were. So the first job that you get to at the Wolt Job Fair is the seasonal employment, which I think is what Donald and I did for many, many years.
For sure.
We maybe take a job in weight loss for like a month. We do it, we got to get, that beach body for summer.
Right.
Got to get ready for the wedding.
You overindulge for the entire Christmas season and you take a January weight loss job where you you're hardcore for, for me, it was probably 2 weeks. And then I'd go back to what I was doing before. If you're
listening to this, New Year is a week away. And I bet on January 1st, you're going to be a new person and you're going to take that job.
Exactly. Or maybe you have a wedding or maybe a high school reunion or something and you really want to look good for it. And so you really kill yourself in order to lose 10 pounds to really look good in those photographs.
Right. So seasonal, just like a job, you're like, oh, it ties back to jobs, which is what this is all about. Your seasonal employment, you're making extra money. It's short term. You don't see it as your actual life. It's just kind of like a means to an end. You got to pay off a bill. You got to whatever. Yeah. Same thing with weight loss. You're just trying to drop a few pounds. You're trying to just try something quick and easy. And that's not a lifelong commitment, is it, Donald? No. It's a short-term seasonal employment.
As soon as you stop going to your seasonal employment job, guess what happens? They stop paying you.
They stop paying.
And just as soon as you stop doing your seasonal weight loss and fitness plan, it stops paying you in the form of you gaining all your weight back.
It does. That was a good one. When you actually asked the question, I was like, "Ooh, what is he going to say?" You had me. I was enraptured by your story.
Why, thank you. I'm an enrapturing speaker, as we all know.
You are. So why don't you tell me? We're walking. We've gotten the brochures. We've gotten maybe there's a mint or something on the table.
Sure.
Some chewing gum we've taken.
A t-shirt, a mouse pad.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Swag. Yeah,
gotta get a Wolt Job Fair mouse pad. So the next booth
that would be so awesome.
Should we make mouse pads and sell them?
Yes, we have an amount of money to invest in Wolt Place. And we will make mouse pads. Ooh, just like on that show with Dan Levy. I don't want to with the S word Creek.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we can say that on our clean podcast.
I don't know. It sounds dangerous, but they're getting wedding photos done, and they're going to have 100 mouse pads made for all of their guests. So maybe the Wolt Job Fair mouse pad is the new sensation. That's how we'll make our millions.
Absolutely, or those stress balls.
Oh my gosh, germ balls.
We'll make those. So the next booth you might come across might encourage you to become an intern at their company.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah. So people, they look at their fitness and their health as an internship where they're just going to put their foot in the door and see how it's going.
It's not much commitment. Maybe you're not paid. Maybe it's just for college credit, but you're interested in seeing if it's right for you. And I think that is actually not a terrible place to start because we think that, when you're a kid, people say what are you going to be? And it's well, obviously a race car driver or an astronaut.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. It's so funny. I just used race car driver and astronaut yesterday.
Really?
When I was talking about, I was trying to convince somebody that, they didn't have to have their dream job or that their job didn't owe them something. And I was and I said, well, I'd like to be an astronaut or a race car driver, but the world says differently. So,
yeah, but it's true. When you're a kid, you kind of have this well, I'm going to be president. I'm going to be a race car driver. It's always these careers that seem really flashy and exciting.
Right.
So
no one says they want to be a COVID compliance officer on TV shows, but here I am.
Here you are. What a time to be alive.
Exactly.
But when you are looking at different weight loss things, and all we do is make analogies on the show, so you're getting exactly what you expect you're going to get. But
if you've listened to our other 150 episodes, you've heard an analogy or 150.
So you're interning. You're trying out Weight Watchers. You're seeing if it works for you. Maybe you're investigating doing intuitive eating or calorie counting. You're just kind of like you're not making progress. Maybe you're not losing weight. Maybe you're not whatever, but you're just kind of like
you're
dipping
dabbling
your toe
in the mailroom.
Dabbling in the mailroom.
Exactly. And thinking that you're going to go from the mailroom, your internship, straight to the corner office probably, right. which is the equivalent of I'm going to sign up for this program, and then before I know it, I'm hitting my goal weight without doing any work.
Exactly. But an internship, it's low level. You're not really it's not part of your life. You just kind of show up. You're seeing if it works for you or not. And that's okay. I used to think I had to be 100% on or off something. And I think a weight loss internship is definitely a way to kind of just investigate.
Oh, it is a way to get started, get your foot in the door.
Yeah, see if it works for you.
Yeah, for sure. What other sorts of booths might be trying to recruit you?
Booths is a hard thing to say. That's not a fun word.
No.
So the next table that you get to is the volunteer table.
Oh, see, it's a job fair, but they're trying to get you to volunteer because they think you've got some free time.
Well, and I think volunteering for weight loss, what do volunteers do? I will tell you what they do. I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to tell you the answer.
What volunteers do.
So volunteer weight loss is once a month you sign up for a fun run, and you feel like you're just I'm in the game. I'm doing my part for the country. I'm doing a 5K. I buy organic. I'm in it to win it.
I'm getting back in the game. Catherine, you son of a gun, I'm in.
But it makes you feel like you're making a difference. And really think about this. I know you're like, Catherine Donald, when are you going to get to the end where you say, what's an inspiration, Nation?
Yeah.
You're going to have to wait for that. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, well, or it's a podcast. They could fast forward if that's their favorite part. If that's the part they're here for, they could just fast forward.
Ooh, should we do a mashup episode where it's just a best of all of the, if you're a ba-ba-ba, then ba-ba-ba-ba.
A special bonus episode for our Patreon subscribers.
Crickets. Nobody. Zero downloads. There's something wrong with this app.
No one wants it.
But anyway, so the weight loss volunteer is the person who's just showing up maybe once a month to do some good for your body. You're like, well, this month I did do one hike. So I'm basically like a mountaineer. I could do a triathlon. You might have a salad in winter, which just seems like a big deal. But in the grand scheme of your life, maybe one day a month, 1 hour a month isn't really going to move the needle. And by the needle, I mean the scale, which used to have needles and now it's just digital numbers.
Oh, man. It's so funny. When I imagine a scale, I still think of it having a needle, even though we've had a digital scale for a very long time.
I know. I can't remember if I said this, but I did the roll your window down symbol to someone, and the person had no idea what I was doing. I'm like, what kind of a world am I in?
Not to get off on a whole thing, but
let's do it.
I was talking with somebody about,
on vacation.
about a TV show, a Danish TV show that I watched in the 90s, and because they're doing kind of a reboot. They're doing a final third season of it.
What is it?
It was called The Kingdom. It was about a hospital, and Lars von Trier was involved. Anyway,
Wolt listeners, you are getting full Catherine and Donald today.
Yeah, full on. So I could not remember how I possibly could have discovered this series in the 90s. With no internet, and no online way to watch anything. I have no idea how I knew it existed. I don't know where I found it. It was probably I rented it on VHS or something. And anyway, the point here being I cannot remember how I did things before the internet.
Right.
It's I can't put myself into that position anymore.
Well, I was born in Denmark, so it's probably had something to do with me. Have I told you I was born overseas?
Yeah, you mentioned it. Yeah, every
all
day
butter
for
cookie, no content.
For the last 25
I'll
years.
Never let you forget it.
All right. So were we?
We're done with volunteer. We've milked that. What's next?
So here's where the job fair metaphor really breaks down.
Here we go.
It's where it really falls apart and has no business.
I thought the rubber was going to hit the road.
No. We're going to bring it back.
Okay.
But the next one is a trust fund.
Oh.
You're just a trust fund person who doesn't need a job.
You're walking around this job fair just because you have to, but mama and papa are paying your way.
Yeah, exactly. And you're thinking to yourself that you don't really need to be at this job fair, but somebody's making you be there because you already have all the answers. And how does this relate to weight loss? Well, you throw money at your weight loss problems.
Oh, that's nice.
And you decide you're going to join a gym and you're going to pay for, Weight Watchers. Not to throw Weight Watchers under the bus, but you're going to buy the latest gadget. You're going to, spend on the books, but you're not going to actually do any of the plans.
Ooh, sort of like when your parents are super rich and they get you into Harvard, but you don't actually deserve to be at Harvard.
Yes, that's exactly what happened to me.
I know. I'm sorry I was looking at you.
It felt very much like you were accusing me.
No, but like you show up and you have the certificate and you've got the whatever, but you're not actually putting in the work. Yeah. You're just sort of like, well, I don't really need to be here, but I have to whittle away my time somehow. So
yeah, we've talked about on other episodes, people confuse momentum with action or, one of those. And it's you're constantly joining a new thing. You're dabbling in a thing, but you're not actually committing to a program or doing the real work in order to get results. But you feel as if you're doing something.
When I went to college, I was so afraid of jinxing and failing out that I didn't buy the sweatshirt for the college until like a week before graduation. I was so convinced it would jinx me out of school.
Yeah.
And then there are other people that I know who went on to grad school who a week into going to the school,
the day they were there, suddenly they had
the pom-poms
and the mud flaps on their car and
like the whole family. I'm like, you're 2 days into orientation, simmer down.
Yeah, let's calm down. Let's make sure you're actually going to finish before.
I don't believe in much, but I believe in the power of the jinx.
Yeah, as you should.
Which is why I still haven't celebrated weight loss. I haven't been like, oh, well, when I lose whatever, I'm gonna go to Antarctica and pet the penguins.
Yeah, exactly.
I need 10 good years of this before I even think about saying that I'm good at it.
No, for sure. Absolutely.
All right. So that's the trust fund.
So what about the kind of people who would have a part-time job, dear? Let's talk about that.
We're walking over to that table. It's not crowded. Let's go over there.
Yeah, let's check it out.
I was going to say they have Funyuns on their table. I don't know why.
Why would they have Funyuns
I don't know.
on their table?
Sometimes you go to tables because they have snacks. But I don't know that any table that's ever had a Funyun.
I don't know either, but I do go to tables because they have snacks, for sure.
For sure.
That is the kind of person I am.
So, anyway, so the part-time weight loss person, listen, if you're listening right now, this might be you.
You have been this person. I have been this person.
Getting a part-time job. Maybe you're just working mornings. Maybe you're tracking calories in the morning.
Yeah.
But at night, you're getting pizza every night. And that you're blowing all the money that you make in the morning at night.
Right.
Maybe you're working 2 days a week, right? Maybe you're just working Saturdays and Sundays. Or usually in weight loss, maybe you're working Monday you feel eye of the tiger. Tuesday you're half day. You're making a little progress, but it's a part-time job. You're not actually moving ahead. You got to have the job, you're there, but you're not actually making weight loss progress.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't see it as part of your identity. It's just sort of I'm here, I'm showing up 2 days a week. Why am I not a millionaire? That's not fair.
And part-time jobs can be great, but you have to be realistic about them. You're not going to become CEO by doing the part-time job.
Well, and it's kind of like a seasonal employee too. Maybe you're making some extra money for gas or whatever, but gasoline is maybe something else. Maybe you're not gaining weight, you're not losing weight, you're just kind of staying in place, but it's not a full passion for you. It's just kind of a mini, way to make some extra cash.
And that's not to say you have to make weight loss and fitness your full-time job.
Which is another option, which is the table that we're walking to on this Vision Quest
I feel like that was a professional transition.
It was
from
magical.
One to the
Finally,
other.
50 minutes into this episode, we got it down.
Exactly. So you're taking a full-time job and you're saying to yourself, I am going to do health and fitness full-time. But guess what? You take weekends off.
Uh-oh. And you get vacation like the holiday season. Right now, it's vacation time. We're not tracking well, I don't know. We haven't actually hit Christmas yet. I don't know if we're tracking calories or not. I like to say we are.
Yeah, no, I actually had a really good week after having the 10 days before that were pretty bad, but had a really solid week this week.
Excellent. So what's a full-time job, Donald? Tell us more about that.
Well, you have decided you're going to do it, but maybe you can't sustain it forever. Maybe you've decided that you're putting all of your eggs into this basket. You're trying to do your weight loss and fitness as a full-time job, but you can't quite commit to that level of doing it. And you're saying to yourself, I have all of these other things in my life. How can I make this my full-time job?
Right. And also, I think that there are differences between careers and jobs. There are, I have had the same job for 23 years. I didn't wake up as a child going I'm going to be a production manager for a print company. Woohoo!
I can imagine 10-year-old you just jumping up and down in her bed, imagining
a Gutenberg press. Oh, it's so exciting.
Exactly.
No, but I have a job that I am good at doing, but is not my passion. And I think a lot of times we can take on weight loss and take on a plan and be like, well, I got to do something. Working for the weekend is oh, well, I'll do it Monday through Friday, but on the weekend I'll be my true self, and then you kind of undo the progress that you've made during the week.
Yeah, and I think what I was trying to say is that that your full-time job. No, I like what you said. What I was trying to say though is making weight loss and fitness your full-time job. You might be able to do that for a while, and maybe some people do it and manage it, but the most people, it's going to be too much.
Right.
They're not going to be able to do it forever. It's not going to be a career. It's going to become a burden. And then you're
going to
resent it and rebel and go in the other direction. So if you can't make it your part-time job and you can't make it your full-time job, Catherine, what do you do?
I'm really glad you asked that, Donald.
I'm really glad that you're really glad.
And I have so many years of experience in this.
You really do.
On my CV, my curriculum vitae for weight loss. That's right. I came with a CV. Everybody.
I was in my 20s before I knew that a CV was the same thing as a resume.
It's a British thing.
Yeah.
It just sounds very fancy when you say CV. But,
I know.
But let's be verite about this, shall we?
We shall.
So the other option in all of this, you're looking around the room, right? And you're like, part-time, volunteer, too many options. What do I do? Well, the other option is a side hustle.
Side hustle?
Side hustle.
What the heck is a side hustle?
Popular by boss babes nationwide. A side hustle is you have your life as your full-time job. You've got maybe you're in school. Maybe you've got kids. Maybe you're caring for elderly relatives.
And you probably have an actual job. And that's not a metaphor job.
Yeah, that's just an actual job.
The job that you go to make money, or in this case, don't go to and do from home. Or
wait a minute, we've stepped out of the metaphor and we're living real life for a second?
Exactly, for a second.
It never occurred to me to talk about actual jobs when talking about a full-time job.
We're at a virtual, a peyote trip-induced job fair.
Gosh.
And yet
He's mentioned peyote twice because he was talking about his favorite movie this morning, Jim Henson's The Doors.
Jim Morrison was in The Doors. It's not my favorite movie, but I was this morning talking about how much I love the Doors movie, and I don't think people talk about it.
They go into the desert. Peyote are mushrooms, everyone.
I'm not even a huge fan of the band The Doors. I really like them, but I'm not a big, huge fan, but I love that movie, and I was talking about it this morning.
You know what?
Because I talk about timely things all the time.
Anyway, so that's why he's talking about
peyote.
Peyote, because he just suddenly is Captain Drug Guy. But anyway, I think he's taken baby aspirin. That's the strongest drug he's ever taken.
If anyone is not Captain Drug Guy, it's me.
Anyway, all right, kids, we're getting back to the side hustle. So the side hustle, you've got in your life, your actual life happening. And so many times we think to ourselves, we don't have time to make weight loss a part of our life. We can't focus on our health. We can't focus on our calories. We can't focus on walking. We can't focus on daily activity because life is in the way. We always have an excuse as to why we can't take on more. And when we have sort of an all or nothing idea of, oh gosh, I've got to get a part-time job, but I can't because I've got to stay home. I can't. We have the option of the side hustle. The side hustle is what fills in all of the blanks around the rest of our lives. Side hustles are generally passion projects. They are things that we actually care about. They're ways to get ahead when we feel like we don't have extra time. Those in-between moments where we can actually invest in ourselves. And I think Donald and I have done a really good job of going from that seasonal volunteer employee, that trust fund kid, to being people who have just integrated 24/7, 7 days a week. We have integrated health and fitness into our lives in a way that it just feels normal and natural because we actually care about it.
Yeah. And I think that we've gone from thinking that weight loss and fitness had to be our full-time job to realizing that it could be our passion project, the thing we do kind of on the side that really fulfills us and makes the rest of our lives more valuable. You know, a real life side hustle, you might make an extra $500 a month or $1,000 a month or whatever it is. It's not going to be enough to get you to quit your job. But what it is it's going to be that vacation, or it's going to be that house down payment, or it's going to be that new car eventually down the road that you are saving for. And hopefully your side hustle is also something you actually enjoy doing. And I really actually enjoy doing my weight loss and fitness. Like walking is now one of my favorite things. Being able to walk upstairs with my full backpack to the 6th floor of the parking garage at work and not be destroyed by it is really something I enjoy. Being able to go on vacation and not be tired all the time and not have to take naps in the middle of the day in the hotel room, but to really enjoy the vacation from the time I get up until the time I go to sleep is really a huge benefit of being in shape and being able to really enjoy the health and fitness that I have earned by putting my passion into that side hustle.
Well, and I think too, I mean, to go back and mix a few more metaphors, because why not? When I went to college, I was also working full time. So I was working Monday through Friday, and then I went to school every other weekend, all day, Saturday and Sunday. And when I started, I didn't think there was any way possible that I could make it work. It just seemed like all my life was going to be gone. But I filled in the blanks and I found the time and I prioritized it because I wanted that degree. When I stopped going to school, I didn't realize how much free time I actually had, how much time was spent, you know, going to breakfast, taking naps, watching TV, like all this time that I had transferred from sitting on the couch to going to school really did matter. And there were other people that I went to school with who like had kids and like had 2 jobs and were sole, you know, caretakers and all this stuff. There's always more time to fit in things that matter to us. And a lot of times we get distracted by things that aren't really important. We take on other people's problems. We feel like we're the only person who can fix everyone else's lives. We take on volunteer opportunities where we don't have time to invest in ourselves, which we think we're being helpful because we're looking at the big picture, but really we're neglecting ourselves, or we're making ourselves so tired that we just want to eat all the time because we give so much to everyone else.
Yeah, or we end up doing things like staying up until 11:30 at night watching Seinfeld instead of going to bed so that we can get up early and get some steps in the morning, or we end up messing around on the internet instead of meal prepping, and tell ourselves the entire time that we don't actually have time to make health and fitness a priority, when really we just aren't making it a priority. We're choosing not to because we don't want to. But making it your passion and making it your side hustle, it ends up paying off big time in the end.
Right. And so, you know, in sort of tying this together, now that you've gone around the whole gymnasium floor, the multi-purpose room with table after table of different weight loss options.
You've picked up your mouse pads. You've gotten your pens. You've gotten Funyuns. Your stress balls. And Funyuns for some reason.
A fistful of greasy Funyuns.
I don't remember what that table was, but man, those were some good Funyuns.
But how do you actually see weight loss fitting into your life? Do you see it as a means to an end? You've got to show up. You've got to do something. You got to you don't want to be there, but you've got to be there because your parents will kick you out of the basement if you don't get a job.
I literally lived in my parents' basement when I was in college.
But is it something that fills you with purpose? Do you feel like it enhances your life? Do you feel like you're just clocking in Monday through Friday and you can't wait for the alarm bell to ring, like a Yabbit Dabba Doo style with Fred Flintstone just jamming home? Like, what kind of a job is it to you? Because it has become our passion, whereas before it was basically whatever get thin quick, scheme we could think of.
For sure.
And it was so short-sighted, but we have made it a part of our lives. We have prioritized it, and it has made all the difference. So I think the main point here is that we, not to sound like a soap opera, we have one life to live. And and if we don't take the time for health, we are going to make time for sickness.
You're going to end up in General Hospital.
General Hospital.
If you don't make one time, these are the days of our lives, and we have to really commit to our health and fitness.
But I would like to finish off with a quote by Henry Rollins.
The great poet laureate Henry Rollins.
Yes, no, he is an author, and he was the head of Black Flag, a rock and roll group.
Rock and roll?
Both.
Both of them?
He specialized in both.
Wow.
One of my favorite quotes of his is, "There is no such thing as spare time, no such thing as free time, no such thing as downtime. There is only lifetime. Go." And if we don't start having some agency in our lives and taking time to make health a priority in a way that is actually meaningful, we are not going to change. And we have a lifetime to make this work. We have a lifetime to figure out plans that meet our needs because it's not the same all the time. But this isn't like a trick. This isn't just some sort of way to pass the time. This is a way to invest in yourself. So ask yourself, what kind of enthusiast are you? Looking around this weight loss room, what are you willing to commit to? Are you satisfied with the way that you're employed right now? Like, is it actually, feeling like it's part of your life, or is it something that you're clocking in and out of?
Yes, indeed. And if you are listening to this show, you certainly have proven that you at least want to make this a priority in your life, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Next week, as a little teaser, we're going to continue talking about jobs. They've got more to say about jobs. Oh my goodness. And we're going to talk a little bit about, so you've decided to set up your side hustle company. What is it going to look like?
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So please tune in for that. Do people tune into podcasts?
Tune in? I don't
know. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate you. You can find all of our episodes still free or still available. They're not behind a paywall. On our website or wherever you find podcasts. And speaking of our website, it's weonlylookthin.com.
Yep. If you go to weonlylookthin.com, you can also find out more information on our women's Facebook support group called Wolt Place, WOLT Place.
Yeah.
We have a couple of subscription options, a monthly subscription with a 3-day complimentary trial, or a 3-month membership with a 7-day complimentary trial to see if it is right for you. You can intern at Wolt Place, see if it's a place for you.
Exactly. Get your foot in the door. You can also follow us on the socials at We Only Look Thin, your Facebooks, your Twitters, your Instagrams. Check us out there.
Yeah, and if you would like to join the conversation, ask us a question, ask us about job opportunities.
Yeah.
For weight loss, we don't actually
we don't actually have any positions for jobs. Yeah.
we're interns at Woltz. So.
Right, exactly.
But you can email us if you have questions, tips, suggestions at weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
And we like to hear from you.
And speaking of hearing from you, we have heard from over 400 people on iTunes. They have given us ratings and review. We have 402, and we have finally made it, and we are so excited. Thank you, every single person, for taking the time to click that button and give us some stars.
Yeah, if you'd like to help us out because you appreciate us, we appreciate you. We would do it if you had a podcast. You can please go to Apple Podcasts and give us a rating and a review. We, as Catherine mentioned, we've just gone over 400, and we are thrilled about that.
And as we're signing off, this is the last podcast before the new year. We wish all of you a very safe and happy new year. Everything's going to change in 2021. JK. JK. Imaginary force field.
So if you still don't know the difference between a Renaissance fair and an imaginary peyote-induced job fair, just remember that Catherine and I are an inspiration. The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.